greetings to you, my people. I'm very happy that we have an opportunity to come together again to consider another crucial point here, which is how to improve your active listening skills. Why are we talking about this? One reason is that a lot of research is going on about listening. And even up to the PhD level, it shows that listening is something that commands the attention of intellectuals. That means it's very important. And also, we can learn more from listening than we can learn from other activities. All these things are validated. Research has shown that most people don't know how to listen, but they are not aware of this deficiency in their lives. They don't know that there is a difference between listening and hearing. Hearing can be passive, you may not be interested, and when the noise is loud enough, it comes into your hearing mechanism. However, listening is an active process. And then we want to ask, what is listening then? Listening is the process or product of extracting information, messages from spoken text, storing up the message, and being able to recall and make appropriate use of those messages at a later time. So, as I've said, listening is both a process and a product. When you are doing it, that's the process. And now, when you are able to remember, you're able to recall and use the information accurately, that is the product of listening. And also, listening is an art. An art is something that is not automatic, it is not just natural. One has to learn it. An art is something in which different people demonstrate varying degrees of proficiency. Some people are better listeners than others. You know that. It's because it's an art. An art is something that we can increase our proficiency in through practice. So, which means we have to learn to practice listening before we can become better listeners. So, it's an art. Now, why do we now have to pay attention to how we listen, to the quality of our listening skills? One reason is that there are many disadvantages that await anybody who does not have good listening skills. And those disadvantages can be terrible. For example, research has shown that in over $40 million are lost every day because people fail to listen. Another reason is that unhealthy relationships, people fail to listen to one another. The relationship will not be good. There will be a distance between two people, no matter how close they are, no matter the degree of proximity, physical proximity now, when they fail to listen to one another. That's why somebody will be shouting on somebody sitting next to him or her because they are not listening or they perceive the other person not listening. And also a lot of learning opportunities will be lost to the inability to listen because we learn from listening. It means when we don't listen, we are not able to learn some things that are crucial to our survival or even maybe to good living. Then whoever cannot listen will lose respect from people. Why? Not listening is a way of showing our disdain for the speaker. And the speaker will want to reciprocate. So they will not listen to us. And another thing is that when we don't listen and our thinking becomes shallow, people will not respect us. Another reason that we have to cultivate the art of listening, and it's because if we don't do that, a lot of simple and baseless conflicts will thrive. We may have misconceptions about certain things, and if we don't listen to the people concerned, we continue to be angry with them, and they get angry with us. And eventually, we may even realize that our ideas are not conflicting, it's just because we are not listening to one another. Then, whoever is known not to be a listener will not enjoy open-mindedness from other people. If they have tasked somebody on listening, even when they have useful information, they may be afraid to tell us, or they may even say, well, there's no point telling him because he's not going to listen. So people will not be open-minded to such a person. And stagnation may set in when somebody doesn't listen. Maybe the little that they have heard before is what they know. They're not acquiring new things, new pieces of information. And that stagnation may permeate other aspects of is that there will be inadequate materials, inadequate mental materials for well-informed decisions. For us to make decisions, we need a lot of information because something may be dangerous. Maybe it was not dangerous years ago, but today it's dangerous. When we still go into such things because one has not been listening to people and people have ceased to speak to that person. Also, somebody who does not have good listening skills will fail to develop communication skills. We learn to communicate by listening to better communicators. And if we don't listen, then we are closing the door against all opportunities to develop our listening skills. And that would be disastrous. And now, why is it difficult for many people to listen? One of the reasons some people find it difficult to cultivate the habit of listening is that they have natural disabilities. Maybe the hearing mechanism is faulty or the intelligence quotient is too low, so they may not be able to flow along with other people. And information overload plays some terrible roles in people's disability as regards listening skills. Because nowadays information is coming from various quarters, new means of getting information across are being developed every day. And so some people cannot cope with the volume of information coming to them. And they don't know how to sieve the information. And that becomes a problem. They just give up on learning to listen. And distraction from the social media is another thing. There are many interesting things the social media are flashing at us. And so when somebody is talking, we remember something from the social media, or we remember that we need to just go online to do something, and that is making people not to be calm. Is fixation on a little portion of what is being said. This happens maybe somebody talking just mentions something that has to do with a past experience. Some people don't know that they need not to dwell or go back in time to the past experience and face what is being said. Some people just get carried away. They are now going back the memory lane while somebody is still talking before them. That is something that is not good enough. So it makes people not to be able to listen. And that happens often enough to some people now. There could be some noise from fear, from apprehension, from sorrow, from anger, that will distract some people's attention, and it becomes a habit to some people. They don't can't control it. And what about atmospheric noise? Some people cannot just stand the slightest, the faintest of noises, and that will make them not to be able to listen because noise will always be there. Then another one is prejudice against the speaker or the topic. Some people don't like some people's faces. They don't like their voices. They don't like the fact that they think such people are not good communicators. Maybe the person stammers or other things or stutters. So such things or the topic. Some people consider certain topics as anathema. They consider them taboos. And so when you just want to talk to them about such topics, they just blank off. And that is not a good thing because from what that person is saying, you may have a lot of things to gain. Another thing is that actually some topics are not worthy of being listened to. They are not worthy of attention. And some people too may not be, they may be worthless people. And so that could make some people not to listen. But when it happens often and often, it becomes a habit that they are not listening. Another thing is inadequate training in listening. Even in the face of all other factors, if one has learned the need to listen and the skills of listening, one will still be able to mediate the effects of other negative factors. For example, somebody who says noise is not allowing me to listen. Greater volume of noise may not distract some other people who have learned the art of listening. Now let's move to the meat of this discourse, which is how. We have known why and what. Now, how do we sharpen our listening skills? How do we improve our active listening skills? First thing is that we need to cultivate the habit of maintaining eye contact with people that we're discussing with. This helps us to be in tune with them, to be able to avoid distraction. Some people are not able to maintain eye contact, but if you're not been doing that, please do start to do that. And also, we need to maintain calmness. By all means, tell yourself nothing is going to distract my attention. I'm not going to be infuriated. I'm not going to be too emotional. You maintain. The thing is that we need to practice open-mindedness. Even when you think somebody doesn't know as much as you concerning the topic of discussion, still listen. Be open-minded. Don't say your mind is made up. Your mind was made up on certain issues many years ago, and you changed your mind when you had superior reasons to do so. So be open-minded. Don't think you know more than the person or the topic is not good. Another thing is that you tell yourself that interruption is a big no-no. Don't interrupt. Don't help people to complete their sentences when they are looking for the appropriate word. Don't interrupt with objections. If you have objections, keep your objections until they signal that it's your turn to speak. Then make proper use of questions. Some people make improper uses of questions. Questions are not meant to generate argument or to just put down somebody that is talking. When you make proper use of questions, you are going to learn more. Then you also need to cultivate the spirit of empathy. When somebody is speaking, put yourself in the person's shoes. That will help you to listen. You will know that they are investing time and energy. Next, verbal cues. Non-verbal cues anyway. Non-verbal cues like unspoken text, things that are not said through gestures that the person is making, through silence. Even silence can be meaningful. Then you are going to be a good listener. You'll be able to know a lot. You have to cultivate sincere humility, not cosmetic humility. Just recognize the fact that you haven't known all. Recognize the fact that you are still a developing material. You are not yet a finished product. And when you do that, you will be able to listen to people because you know that you don't know it all. When we do this, we'll be able to cultivate good listening skills for academic purposes as well as for good living. Thank you very much. Subscribe to this channel. Click on the notification bell. Share this message. And your meaningful comments will be appreciated. Thank you. Live and Living with Samson Olatunji.